How are you? Oh god, so where do I start? I haven't been on here for ages to do a video. I don't really know what I'm doing, to be honest, but I just wanted to come on and say hi because I do miss you all. And I wanted to update you really with what's been going on. I have got tarot cards here, so I might pick a couple of cards, but you know, the last video I did, if you did watch it, was on, it was to do with, obviously what had been going on with me, but it was also to do with explaining this thing about, you know, getting rid of the ego, the super ego. And I was talking about the rising sign, because your rising sign in your chart is basically your conditioned super ego. It's kind of like the most karmic part of your ego. So if you look at your rising sign, that will give you a hint as to the mask you wear when you go out in public. But it's also a mask you wear to yourself, and it's a fake image of yourself that you've built up in your head over your lifetime. But it is your karma, so you probably acted like it in a past life, unfortunately. And it's not really who you are. And the trouble is, it will make you think that you desire certain things, want certain things, actually you don't really want. And it's not good. It's not good, the rising sign. People think a lot of their strength comes from the rising sign, but you just end up playing a character in your life. And if you've got depression or anxiety, that is a sign that you are playing a character, playing a role that you don't really want to play. So have a look up at your rising sign. I suggest you read up on it a lot and keep reminding yourself on a daily basis, and you'll start to get more and more clarity that you kind of realise this isn't really who I am. I'm just acting a part in a play. And it's the densest part of your ego, your super ego. And it's how you had to behave to survive your childhood, most likely. And probably how you behaved in past lives to sort of survive past lives. But really it's karmic because it's, hi Gilbert's coming up to say hello. Really it's karmic because you don't really want it, because it's actually obstructing you from being your real self. So what I encourage you to do next is look at your, what should we say, the past life or the Lilith? Oh God, I'd probably say go into your Lilith. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I am. Your Lilith, look on your chart. To do your astrology sign, you need your date of birth, time of birth, and all of that. If you go into your Lilith, and it'll be on your chart, and you can do it for free online. Your Lilith is like what I would call your inner child, okay? It's the vulnerable part of yourself. It's the part of yourself you've denied and suppressed and rejected. It's the part of yourself you don't feel comfortable with. It's the part of yourself you don't like. It's the part of yourself that probably, if you acted like that as a child, you would have been totally rejected, or would have been seen as very weak. You know, and it's just the part of yourself that you wish you didn't have, you know, and it's not healthy to keep it in the shadows, all right? Because you're going to have mental health problems if you try and deny it. You're going to find that you're never peaceful within yourself, because what you're doing is fundamentally rejecting a very real part of who you are. And it's compounding what society is doing to you, because you'll probably find that society has rejected this part of you, and that's why you've hidden it in shadows for so long. My Lilith is, I don't know if I want to say what it is, but it's a very sensitive one. And you know, a lot of us in this soul family, you'll probably find your Lilith is very sensitive and frightened, all right? And that's probably something we've all got in common in this soul family. You know, if you resonate with this channel, you're probably part of the soul family. And we've got this very, very sensitive part that we've hidden and denied. And, you know, it's sort of like time for it to come out, basically, all right? 2024, let out your Lilith. You know, start accepting your Lilith. Start saying to yourself, I'm not going to hate this part of me anymore. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to suppress it. I'm going to start looking after it, you know. And it's all well and good when people say, oh, you know, care for your inner child. You've got to care for it. It's not very easy to do. And we usually forget about it and just go back to just operating as our superego, projecting a different type of image, maybe a tougher image or a more popular image, whatever it may be. And I think that's why discovering it is your Lilith and reading up on your Lilith is much more powerful. It is like your inner child, but it's a more powerful way of doing it because you're getting very real details and information on what your inner child is actually like. Some people also call it your raw sexual energy and your more dark sort of shadow side energy. That's true, that's in there as well. So you will find that's all mixed up within there, which maybe isn't such an inner child type of thing. But anyway, it's there. So, you know, you might find that you're suppressing the fact that you like more taboo things or more eccentric things or that type of thing as well. And it's all here to be embraced, you know. So that's what's basically was what I was working on. Yeah, so when Spirit started showing me all these things about the astrology chart, and I know some of you might already work with astrology charts, you might have a lot more knowledge than me, you might have had training and things like that. I haven't been trained, I've just worked with Spirit on it. But I will say specifically that I know for this soul family and from what Spirit's shown me, this is like literally absolutely the case. And it's the easiest and most direct way to work with Spirit to start releasing yourself from all the karmic blocks that you've had in your life. So it's what I started working on last summer, which was first of all ignoring my rising sign, my superego, that was trying to get me to portray a character and act a role, okay? And, you know, once I started ignoring that, very quickly I was also simultaneously accepting my more shadow side and getting in touch with it and getting to know it, and for the first time in my life saying, I don't hate you. I don't actually hate you. I actually want to love you and listen to you and like you and make you feel happy, right? And I've never done that to that part of myself before. Doing that was very powerful, and it can make you feel quite vulnerable because this is a part of yourself you've rejected and denied, probably for a very good reason. Probably because being your Lilith is always scary and people don't normally probably allow you to be this side of yourself. So that's what I've been finding the last few months, right? So I didn't want to act like my rising sign and portray this character anymore. And I realised I was starting to get very burnt out with the amount of work I had to do and responsibilities I had. And I started to really resent being my rising sign and really resent what it was doing to me, because it was literally killing me. Like, playing a character, playing a role, a fake identity will, in the end, exhaust the freaking life out of you. And that's basically what was happening to me. And I noticed my mental health was really going downhill, yeah? Because what you're doing is you're playing a character and there's only so long you can do it. I'm 43 and I just started to hit a wall. I've been living independently for 5 years, yeah, with no partner, no one to look after me. Also obviously a mum of two, single mum of two. Their dad still helps a lot, so it's not all on my shoulders. I can't say it is, but probably more than what I can really theoretically cope with, if you know what I mean. I mean, I can cope, but I think working as well was just pushing me over the edge. It was too much, do you know what I mean? Like working and the kids, and then also my own mental health stuff. And I just realised that so much of my mental health was coming from this Lilith part that was not being cared for, you know? Like I wasn't looking after myself properly. I was just shoving it all down, you know, and trying to act like my rising sign, like this character, like, oh yeah, Kerry's doing tarot readings, Kerry's helping people, Kerry's sorting everything out. Kerry's looking after her mum, Kerry's looking after her daughter. You know, my daughter's got autism and she got diagnosed last summer, you know, so I had, once that came in, and it was interesting how that came in, because it was almost like Spirit brought me the information at the exact time where I was killing off my biggest, densest layer of karma, you know, because I actually spoke to Spirit and I said, that's it, I don't want to be this rising sign anymore. It's not me. I know it's karmic. It's a false identity. And I had to create it to please my dad when I was a kid, and I'm not freaking doing it anymore. I actually even felt like it was my dad's voice living inside my head, you know, and that is what your rising sign is. It's not your voice, it's somebody else's voice living inside your head, most likely your caregivers from when you were a child. And it's time to freaking stop it. And that's what I said. And very quickly, within a couple of months of that, my daughter got diagnosed autistic. And when she got diagnosed autistic, it was a very powerful moment in my life, because doing her assessment, I recognised I had all the symptoms. And all my life I've had therapy, and I've always said this on this channel, like I've always had therapy, I've always had sort of mental health issues, anxiety, depression and OCD, I don't know, obsessions, you know, like I've always said to you that, you know, be real, and you know, you are the way you are, and all of that. And but doing her autistic assessment, it was just like doing it on myself, and it was amazing. It was like Spirit spoke to me, but the timing was unbelievable, because it was literally when I'd made such a breakthrough personally on myself with my own karma, knowing that I didn't want to be this false identity anymore. I didn't want this ego anymore. It's not who I am. I've rejected the most sensitive part of myself all my life, and I don't want to do that anymore. I actually want to be sensitive Kerry, and you know, just be who I really am. You know, like I am quiet, I am sensitive. You know, I do find relationships difficult. I find intimacy difficult, you know, and I don't want to be ashamed of that anymore. I just want to be like, sod it. This is me, and it's time for me to accept that and be humble, put my ego at the door and say, this is me, and learn to love it. It's not easy. Don't get me wrong. It's freaking hard. If you start working with your Lilith, you will feel the resistance come up a lot, because your karmic fake ego identity, which is your rising sign, is going to try and obstruct you from embracing your Lilith. But I tell you, I when I work spiritually, I freaking go for it. And once I made the realization of what was going on, boom, I'm not having this anymore. I really don't want that ego anymore. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's gone. It wasn't obviously overnight, it was a gradual process, but like I said, what I was doing, that super ego, your rising sign, is a massive web of karma. It's like a dense energy. You can't see it, but it's very dense. You start ignoring it, it's going to kick up. It's going to cause you mind attacks. I went through it all, believe me. But as it starts to clear out, that's density going, right? What happens? Your level of consciousness starts to get increased, and you start to see things more clearly, because you haven't got that dense layer of karma obstructing your vision. So your level of consciousness is increasing, which means you've got a higher level of awareness. And I believe that is why right around that time my daughter got diagnosed autistic, and finally, after 43 years of not knowing what was wrong with me, I freaking understood, okay? So I start to realise this is what's going on with me. It was a true blessing, but it was also very emotional, which is why I couldn't talk about it on the channel at the time. I did mention that she'd got diagnosed, but I couldn't mention about the fact that she was me, and Spirit was talking to me through the assessment, showing me that this is you, Kerry, this is what's been wrong with you your whole life. But I believe my own karma was obstructing me from getting the information, because how I'd had so many therapists all my life and not one of them have ever picked up I'm clearly autistic is a joke. But anyway, I try not to get bitter, because I know it's my own karma. So anyway, you see what I'm saying? You're not going to get to the true you. You're never going to get the true life you deserve. You're never going to get to know who you really are if you're playing a freaking character. And this is the thing, and I know sometimes when I speak to some of you, I can be a bit too blunt, but that's partly because I'm autistic. And I am sorry if I've been blunt with anyone and upset anyone, but it's just my way. And it's also because I just cannot abide this ego, because I know what it's doing to you, and I'm not gonna allow it to keep doing this to you. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to keep allowing it to do this to you, because I know it's done to me. And it's screwing with your head, honestly, it's screwing with your head. And so that's why, sorry, I'm just doing the, you know, like put the thing on charge. That is why I couldn't talk about it at the time, because it was freaking emotional. Like, well, you saw the last video where I was just crying. I couldn't even really talk without crying. I still do cry quite a lot. But we've just had a psychology assessment this morning for my daughter, because they're looking at putting her in a special needs school. So we've just had that psychology meeting just now. And then I just thought, oh, do you know what? I'm on a roll. Let's hop on and do a video, because I keep saying, oh, I must do a video, because I haven't done one for a while. And I do feel a personal connection on a soul family level with so many of you. And I don't want you to feel like I've abandoned you or abandoned the channel. But this is what I've been going through, and I couldn't really share in the last video because I was just, it's just so overwhelming. But anyway, there's a massive ancestral healing going on. So all of these things will start to happen for you. You will start to get information, like you have been wanting information your whole life, or you've been confused your whole life. Trust me, trust what I say. If you get rid of your rising sign, if you start ignoring it, that is your superego. That is your most dense karmic layer. You need to start ignoring it. That's the only way you'll get rid of it, is it by ignoring it and not playing that freaking character anymore. You know, obviously you can't just stop overnight, but gradually every single day you just keep reminding yourself, it's not who I am, it's not who I am. I've got to stop acting like this. And look at your Lilith and choose, make a conscious choice to be your Lilith and say, Jane, that's who I really am. It is going to bring up fear. It is going to bring up anxiety. It is going to bring up a lot of mixed emotions, and you're going to question, am I doing the right thing? But you are, because you've got to break down all of this dense layer of karma. Otherwise, you're never going to get to the true you, you know. And the Lilith part of you is part of yourself you've rejected and denied and suppressed, and it's time for it to come back. You know, I'm using Teal Swan's words when I say that, by the way. I'm not taking any credit for that, but that's how she describes the shadow, Teal Swan. Now, it is a battle every day to love that part of yourself, because when you were a child, nobody loved you for your Lilith, yeah? So you're going to get a lot of negativity start coming up, you know. And don't get me wrong, I've been struggling a lot with depression the last few months since doing this. The depression's got, since I've really stepped away from my superego, depression is coming quite badly, but it's only going to be a temporary thing. It's because you've never had a positive experience as your Lilith, so it's going to bring up these feelings of depression, because you feel like it's going to be wrong to be like your Lilith. You know, you're going to feel like, I'm going to be too weak, I'm going to be too vulnerable, nobody's going to like me, or I'm going to fail. You know, you get any types of feelings like that are going to come up when you start to identify as your Lilith. But the positive side is your superego, which is your rising sign, will start to diminish down, and you will start to get spirit make things happen in your life for the first time ever. My life had been so stuck and stagnant for 5 years. Nothing was really happening. And since I've been doing this, my divorce finally come through. My daughter's been diagnosed autistic, so all her problems got understood. Now my problems are understood, and now I'm getting help, finally. You know, I kept screaming out for help, but every time I got help, none of the therapists were helping me, because none of them freaking understood I was autistic. But now I've got a psychologist. She understands that I'm autistic. I'm on the waiting list for an autistic assessment. You know, the mental health team, I can call them whenever I want for help. You know, I've got a support worker that helps me fill out forms and things like that, you know. So you will start to find your life starts to move forward finally by rejecting that character you've been playing. So look at your astrology chart, get rid of your rising sign, don't act that character. Look at your Lilith, try to understand. It is complicated, and that's why I was doing sessions with people, because it's not as easy as it sounds. Reason being, we are spiritual beings, pure light, But because we're carrying all this karma, which is why we got reincarnated, that karma is a dense energy that obstructs you from seeing the truth. So you can read your Lilith, and what you'll probably find is it becomes foggy. And it'll be like, some days you can really connect with your Lilith, and then other days you feel like, is that really me? I don't really understand. And your rising sign will start, that's the super ego, it's going to start being cheeky, it's going to start screwing with your head, trying to tell you that you're that character again, and you've identified as that character for so long, you can't shake it off that easily. So that's why I was doing sessions with people on this, because you'd kind of need someone to help remind you that this is true. But I can't really do sessions at the moment because my priority's got to be my mental health and my journey. And Spirit actually just completely stopped me in my tracks so that I couldn't really do that character anymore. You know, it wasn't really a choice, I'll be honest with you, because I probably would have carried on doing my work, but I literally got to the point where I couldn't physically do my work. And I do believe Spirit was stopping me. You know, I was starting to feel very disorientated and stuff like that, and just very overwhelmed, like very anxious, and I couldn't function properly. So I had to stop, and I knew Spirit was stopping me. I knew Spirit was stopping me and saying, no, you're not doing that anymore, because that's the part of the ego you now need to let go of, and you need to be the true self, which is the true Kerry, which is much more sensitive and quiet. And I'm very distant from people, you know, the way I am, but I do have a good heart, I do care. And that's what I just wanted to jump on and let you know about this, because you're in my soul family for a reason. If you've been watching my tarot card readings, I would not be doing, you know, my job as Kerry if I didn't share this truth. Yeah, but I don't see there's nothing more important than the information I'm giving you now. And some people are not going to relate to it because probably it's just not the right time, you know, on their karmic journey. But for some of you, I've already done this work, and some of you might be listening now and thinking, God, yeah, that's interesting. I want to find out my Lilith. I want to look. You probably already know your rising sign, but you want to read up on that a bit more, look at your Lilith and just see, yeah, Kerry's right. I do know that my Lilith is much more who I am, the sensitive parts of me, the truer parts of me that I... And you know, your head will screw with you, and you will sometimes question it, but whenever you stop purging, you'll always come back to the truth. The truth will always come out, and your Lilith is very much who you are. And then the next video I'll do will be the other part of the puzzle. I don't want to do it on too many videos, like everything in one video. That's why I'm breaking them down. So if you want to look more at your rising sign, look at the last video I did. That's the first part of the puzzle. The character you're playing, the mask that you're wearing, that's the biggest part of the ego. And then your Lilith, it's still the ego, but it's much more a true part of your ego. It's kind of more how you really are made. And you'll just start to find that by doing this work, you start to clear layers of karma like you've never done before. But it will be epic. I mean, get ready. You've got to be ready to do this. And I think that's why most people won't resonate with this, because it's such a big piece of work to do. You've really got to be ready, because it can make you feel scared and it can make you feel vulnerable. You know, but for me, I got to the point where it was like, I've got no choice, I've got to do it, you know, this is my time. So it's great. So basically, like, I can talk, as you can see, but my problem is I'm very recluse and I'm not very good at two-way conversations, which is why I can do videos. But I'm not very good at the two-way conversation. But even just talking on a video, I mean, it's just tiring for me because of my communication problems. So that's why I've always found the recording the videos difficult. I've always wanted to record more videos than I really could. And then doing sessions with customers as well. Like, obviously I don't call you customers, like you're my soul family, but you know what I mean. It's just very draining for me, because like communication is draining. But even the sensory overload, like I've got the light shining at me now. And that sometimes can really set me off. When I was filming, it would really set me off, the light shining at me. just any sort of activity really is very draining for somebody with autism. But, you know, the thing is, you could find out things about yourself finally, and it's exciting to finally understand yourself. Do you know what I mean? So it's good. It's actually a very good thing. And who knows what you might find by ignoring your superego and getting to know your Lilith. I'm telling you, just expect the unexpected. Anything is possible, you know? All of a sudden, the impossible will become possible. So it's worth it in every single way. So I am sending you lots of love. And I'm sorry I'm not doing tarot videos at the moment, but I have to respect the fact that I'm just not up to it. First card to come out is the Hierophant. How amazing is that? So Hierophant is obviously the guru, spirit. Got the Strength card next. Look at that. It's flowing through grace. You see, when you've got your superego, your rising sign, okay, that is obstructing source. Not only is it obstructing you from getting the truth of your life and your life finally moving forward, it's actually blocking source. Because you are plugged into source all of the time. But it's your ego, it's such a dense energy, it's a character you're starting to play, yeah? So the ego rises and you're playing a character. And then you're just so much further steps removed from source, which is just right here. Your Lilith is sitting really near source because it's the shadow part of your chart. Do you see what I mean? So although the Lilith is still part of your ego, it's much more a truer part of you, and it's much closer to spirit. Okay, so you see, you start to move closer to spirit, and when you're moving closer to spirit, source is flowing through you, and that's what the Strength card is all about. You are not forcing anything in your life anymore. Okay, so there is some grieving going on, and it can feel like you think, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to get what I want. Okay, so this is going to happen. This is the layers of the superego. Okay, it's panicking because it wants to maintain control. That's what the superego does. It's the critical parent part of the ego. And so what you're experiencing when you're feeling like gutted and grieving, or like you're just losing and you've got regrets, or you're feeling like, am I ever going to get what I want? I feel so fed up and this just seems painful. That's not you. It's not you feeling like that. It's just your superego. It's trying to it's trying to sabotage you from becoming who you really are. Okay, this is why it screws up your head. All right, so you are doing it. You're gaining all the time. You are gaining all the time, and by working on your own, 9 of Pentacles, by really gathering your resources, by protecting yourself more, by looking after yourself more, what you're doing is you're becoming a King of Pentacles, a master of your own stability, a master of your, being rooted in yourself, and actually finally making very intelligent, wise choices for your life like never before. So it's amazing what's going on in this soul family at the moment. All right, so it is a time for this soul family to kind of be feeling like it's testing. I'm grieving. I'm feeling I'm feeling mixed up and sad about things, and wishing that I could have my pot of gold, and I feel fed up that things feel like hard work. But then on the other hand, deep down, what's going on is you are being guided by spirit. Right now, you are being guided by spirit, yeah? You're being guided by spirit to just flow with every day what spirit is bringing you, and to surrender to what spirit is bringing you. And spirit is saying that standing by yourself on your own is actually making you much more abundant. And it's this way that you will finally find your roots and your stability. and your abundance will just keep increasing. And you're becoming more wise, you know. So it's a good reading. You're also on the verge of some kind of breakthrough, okay? You've got the Ace of Swords. So there is some kind of breakthrough, very imminent. And it's something to do with an ending of something and a new beginning. All right, and this ending has kind of nearly killed you. Ten of Swords, it's nearly killed you. But it's all about you being a best friend to yourself, and you're about to have a breakthrough. You really, really are about to have a breakthrough. And that will make it worthwhile. That's going to make everything worthwhile. So hang in there. You're being guided by spirit, you know. If you just surrender to the process, I would say stay on your own as much as you can. You know, do what you need to do with others, but remain rooted in yourself, because that's where all your abundance lies. And your abundance is coming. Your wisdom is coming. Your stability is coming. And it's the wisest thing to do at this time is to follow the path that spirit is taking you on, you know. And when you're feeling sad, or either sad or gutted or fed up, just remember that's the super ego feeling like that because it wanted you to keep playing that character. But what's the point? Because that isn't who you are, you know. Get in touch with your Lilith, read up about it, get to know it and accept it, because that's fundamentally how spirit did want you to be and make you, you know. And by honouring that, you're going to reap the rewards, you know. Spirit is taking you back to source by you honouring your Lilith aspect. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Hope it made sense. It was quite nice to do it. It was a moment that I could do it. So I'm sending you lots of love. And I'll try and come on a bit more often if I can, just to let you know what I'm doing, because I'm doing lots of things every day. Anyway, I'm sending you lots of love. Bye.